Is the Igbo case as hopeless as people make it look?
It's not entirely lost, but it's a difficult task. But there has to be reorientation. That means we must make a deliberate effort to put these things in the media, to set up think tanks, to set up training institutions. Everybody must be hands on deck. We must come together. Jingle, coronavirus is real. We must have jingles. We must have billboards. Okay, reminding people that this is our responsibility. And we must tell ourselves that, listen, put a timeline on it. By 2030, we want Southeast to return to what it was, the fastest growing region in the world. And then these are the steps that we must take to get there. State governments have a role to play. Okay, social cultural organizations have a role to play. We all have a role to play. The church has a role to play. We must begin to hammer on this thing. Conscience, respect for rule of law, respect for rule of law. But first of all, it must start in the families. Because Ebe Milisibalo is in the families, actually. Because right now, I can reference my father as the man that influenced me to think the way I think. But there are people who I grew up with that didn't have their parents in their lives. And so their life, I lived overseas. And I see people dealing drugs. Overseas, Igbo Ijenga, Abro's a thing of shame. If you see how they arrogantly tell you I went to jail for 5 years. And I'm like, what happened to our people? Because, I mean, in the olden days, if you went to jail, your family and so everybody made sure that you didn't do that thing that will lead you to jail. But today is a thing of pride. Jail was, you go and do the drugs, go and do 419, come back, build a mighty house, settle on, then you're the big man. That must be abolished completely from our way of life. It's messing up things for us.
All right.